Hello and welcome back to Around the Clock. It's time for the Select Board update for the meeting that happened on Wednesday, January 15th. This was our first meeting of the 2020 calendar year, as our other meeting would have been on January 1st. It wasn't too full of an agenda, but we had a lot of fun things that we got to share with the public. We had an executive session to start to talk about some litigation regarding our Eversource discussion. We then opened the meeting at 7 o'clock, and the first thing we got to do was do 2 Eagle Scout proclamations for Monzer Katob and Jordan Katob. Now, Monzer, most of you know as Mackie, and typically he's behind the curtain, or not behind the curtain, behind the camera here at WACA-TV. We got to give both Jordan and Mackie their proclamations from the Board of Selectmen, declaring January 18th and January 19th Jordan and Mackie Day. Each of them get a day based on our proclamation. Let's take a look at some of the discussion and some of the fun that happened at the meeting.
Yeah,
So mine is for Jordan. The Board of Selectmen proclamation. Select Board proclamation. Whereas
Amber Alert.
Okay. Whereas Jordan Kotob's work, perseverance, and dedication have allowed him to fulfill his goal of completing all the requirements to rise to the rank of Eagle Scout, and whereas a small percentage of Boy Scouts have successfully risen to the challenges which are faced when attempting to obtain this rank, and whereas many Scouts who have obtained this honor have gone on to distinguish themselves in their respective areas, and whereas Jordan is being inducted into this most prestigious rank of Eagle Scout at a court of honor. Now, therefore, we, the selectmen of the town of Ashland, do hereby proclaim Sunday, January 19th, 2020, as Jordan Kotob Day, and urge all residents to make known their admiration of his achievements, and urge Jordan to use this honor as a catalyst to achieve the goals he has set for himself for the future. And it's signed by Steve Mitchell, Chair, on behalf of the Ashland Select Board. And I have for you a very prestigious Board of Selectmen coin for you, and this is for you as well. So congratulations.
Thank you. Manager,
Just read one.
congratulations to both of you on the great work that you've done. It's these types of events that we honor, and I enjoy it because this is what Ashland's all about. Having the kids get involved in their community and doing things to make the town a little better, that's what it's all about. Continue those efforts. And to your mom and dad, you did a great job. You have 2 great men here.
Never said that.
Okay.
Never said that to me.
Manager, whereas your work, your perseverance and dedication have allowed you to fulfill your goals of completing all requirements to rise to the rank of Eagle Scout. And whereas a small percentage of Boy Scouts have successfully risen to the challenges which are faced when attempting to obtain such a rank. And whereas many Scouts who have obtained this honor have gone on to distinguish themselves in the respective positions in areas that they have achieved. And whereas Monzer is being inducted into the most prestigious rank of Eagle Scout at a court of honor. And now therefore, we, the Select Board of the town of Ashland, do hereby proclaim Saturday, January 18th, 2020, as Monzer Katob Day, and urge all residents to make known their admiration for your achievements, and urge you to use this honor as a catalyst to do bigger and better things in the future. And it's signed by Steve Mitchell on behalf of the Ashland Select Board. Congratulations. And here is your challenge.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
As a member of the Select Board, being able to give out these Eagle Scout proclamations and now our coins is always one of the fun things we get to do. After doing that celebration, we then had a presentation by the Robo-Whiz team. It's a Lego league. They're middle school students, 6th and 7th grade, and they competed and took 2nd place. They had a real-world problem that they had to resolve, and they worked with Ashland Town administrators. And I'm going to let them tell you, because they did a wonderful presentation at the meeting as to what and how they solved their real-world problem.
When the winds of change blow, some people build walls while others build windmills. What do we want to build? By 2050, urban population is expected to grow to 6.7 billion people who will account for 2/3 of the world's energy consumption. This is going to exponentially increase our energy demands and carbon emissions.
International scientists recently issued a dire warning in the Biosciences Journal. Earth is facing a climate emergency. If CO2 emissions are not reduced immediately, global warming will become an existential threat.
After the presentation, we were all saying that what they created in regards to the foot pressure to create energy is something that we should look into for both any public buildings coming forward or any renovations that we may be doing for public buildings. And if these kids keep working, they are going to help solve some of the climate issues and some of the power issues that we may be facing in future years. From there, we had an introduction of our sustainability coordinator, Frank NAKASHIAN. He started about 2 weeks ago. He is coming on to help with our sustainability issues. This was a position that was approved in our budget for this fiscal year, and it's nice to have him on board. He's already jumped in by attending a sustainability committee meeting, a Minda school building committee meeting, and also he will be attending a public safety committee building meeting. There's so many words there. Okay, moving on, we then had a hearing for a request for modification of a Class 2 license, New Beginning Auto Service on Nickerson Road. Their current license was for 25 automobiles. They have asked to increase it to 80. And after some questioning specifically by Joe Mignani in regards to where the cars are going to be and what else they do there, we approved their updated Class 2 license for 80 vehicles. All I can say is if you ever need a used car, just drive down Nickerson Road. There's a number of used car dealers there. From there, we had our public hearing for eminent domain taking. We are taking about 2 feet along various parcels on Main Street for the improvement of our downtown streetscape. And that project I'll be talking about a little bit later. That went forward with no problems. We then had some updates starting with our priority project updates. So the first is the Rail Transit District. YMCA, we're going to start seeing a little bit more action there. They're also going to be coming out and doing some community forums, talking about what people may want to see at the new YMCA on the MBTA Access Road. United Group of Companies, they gave us a proposal for a document, a developer agreement. We had some things that we were questioning, so that has not been approved yet, and Town Manager Michael Herbert will be talking to them to try and get that finalized. I expect we'll see shovels in the ground there sometime this spring. Our public safety building had some positives. The wetland delineation for their property has been approved. So now they know the footprint or the area that they can build in. Also, the A&R plan was approved by our planning board. And again, that sort of draws out the land boundaries between the parcel that is being gifted to the town and the parcel that is being kept by the Fafford Company. We then went on to an update on our downtown project. We are looking to see some work start happening probably in May or June. And a positive thing is that Eversource has approved their plans for the undergrounding of the utilities. At one point we thought we would do some of the work and then the undergrounding would happen. It's looked like we're going to be able to do that all at the same time. So rather than grounds and streets having to be torn up twice, it'll just be once. The work will be done so that the utilities can get undergrounded as well as the improvement for the streetscape and sidewalks and things like that. So that's all moving forward. We had an update on the Warren District and Valentine Estate. Not too much going on there quite right now. The committee that is reviewing the Valentine Estate is looking at proposals as well as looking at other types of other communities that have buildings like the Valentine Estate, what they're doing with it, and then looking at proposals as to what we can do with the Valentine Estate. Their meetings are posted up on the website, so if you're interested in finding out what they're doing or give some input, you're more than welcome to attend their meetings. We then approved our consent agenda, and part of it was the hiring of 4 new firefighters via a SAFER grant. It was a grant that was awarded to Ashland. 75% of the salary for these 4 new officers will be covered in the first 2 years. It then goes down to 35% for the 3rd year, and then and we are required to cover it after that. Our town manager has put plans in place so that we are able to cover and handle those salaries after those 3 years. This brings our fire department up to about 5 or 6 officers per shift, which is something we've been working toward for many, many years. From there, we went to old and new business. We talked a little bit about Eversource. We had asked one of our members, Rob Scherer and Michael Herbert, to do some research and bring us some consultants possibly that we might hire to help us with the whole Eversource process. They are not quite at that point yet, so they'll be doing that at our next meeting. We did talk about some of the conversation that's going on around Eversource. There's a meeting being held on January 28th at the library by the No Pipeline group. So if you're interested, you can attend their meeting and get more information. We removed something that was on our agenda for 31 Pleasant Street, a waiver of demo delay. That got pulled because the correct paperwork had not been handled. We then did vote to approve bond renewal for our downtown engineering. It was at a 2.55 interest rate. It's now at a 1.75 interest rate. Thank you to Brittany Iacopone for getting that done and helping us save some money there. We discussed the town manager evaluation. Between now and the end of May, we will be going through our process of evaluating the town manager. If you have input for any of the board members, reach out to us in regards to your interactions with the town manager. We discussed funding or helping fund the Ashland Clocker Super Bowl rings. We got into a little bit of discussion, and we have decided we're going to give $2,500 from our grant funds to the Ashland for the Super Bowl rings, and then we're also going to give $2,500 to the Ashland Clocker Club that supports all sports. The Ashland Post Office, not much of an update. They have, I guess, gotten some proposals on what needs to get done, but there's still no timing. But the mail is being picked up in the post office. There's a mailbox right outside of the post office. That mail is being picked up. So if you have stamps and you just need to drop it off, you can drop it there. We then moved on to our town manager report. We're looking at a website redesign just to make it a little bit easier to use, and we're looking at other Civics Plus based websites. We talked about the FY21 budget. The first televised forum with FinCom is going to be on Tuesday, February 4th. You can either go sit in person at the select board meeting room, or you can watch it on TV. We then discussed the communication events coordinator. This is a new position that has been proposed by the town manager in a way to get more information out to the public, as well as help coordinate some of the events that are going on in town that are currently being done somewhat by volunteers, but just need a little bit more coordination and time. We did approve that new position. The full description of the job should be up on the website, as well as the information as to the backing from the town manager for that. He also gave us an update. The EPA is going to be coming to Ashland on Thursday, January 23rd, giving a presentation at the high school for further mitigation and further work on the removal of debris from Nyanza. We will be covering that meeting here on WACA-TV if you can't get out to the high school. They're also looking for feedback if you'd like to submit information, written or verbal testimony on their plan, and we will give you that website. And that wrapped up the meeting. We were done at 10 o'clock and able to head on home. And that wraps it up for this select board update for the meeting that happened on January 15th.